Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this little picnic basket box, which has a lid that is actually your album. So I'm going to show you how to make the box and how to make the album and all the insides, which is attached here with ribbon. And it's a fun, quick little project to make. It measures, the box is 8 inches by 4 on the ends, so that makes your little album a 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. And like I said, this opens up and attaches down into the box to make the lid for your little picnic basket box, and it becomes a really cute centerpiece, table decoration for your outdoor celebrations or picnics. So let's get started. We will be making a little picnic basket box, which will have a mini album in it that will serve as the lid of our picnic box. It makes a cute decoration. You could use the box separately, put things in it, and then have the album separate, or put the two together the way I'm going to show you. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So I want to go over with you first what you get in your kit for my project. You will get 1 pack of the 12 by 12 collection kit, Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Lemon Twist. Now it says 94 pieces here, but that's including your stickers. So actually what you're getting is 12 sheets of double-sided designer cardstock, including the cut-apart element sheets, and a 12 by 12 cardstock sticker sheet with 82 stickers. So we're getting one of each pattern, front and back. And what I want you to do at first is to go through your papers and pick out these two with the 3 by 4s. This one has some 3 by 4s or some that you can cut down. So we're going to set these two aside because we'll need these in our album to make some inserts and things, and we don't want to cut that apart right now. And so then the rest we're going to be using the full sheets on, and of course you have the sticker sheet here, and that will be our embellishments. So that is our pattern paper. This comes in your kit. Then you also get the pre-cut heavyweight chipboard. Mine, you see here, is a little bit different colors, but that's fine. It is the heavyweight. You're going to get, and I want you to go ahead, and as I give this to you, it is in your cutting list. Check your pieces and then label them. So you have one that says you should label as spine, and that one is 1.5 inches by 4 1/4. And then you get 2 that are your cover, and you get 2 the same size, 3.5 inch by 4 1/4 inch. So that's for the little album, and we're going to set that aside with those cut aparts because we don't need them at first. Then for your chipboard pieces, you're going to get, for your box, you're going to get 2, and you can label those as box ends. You get 2 that are 4 by 4. You get 3 pieces that are 4 by 8. 2 of those are going to be your box side, and then one of them will be a box bottom. So you get 3 of those. Okay, so we're going to take these and we're going to use those to create our picnic basket box base. Other items that you may want are, or that you will need, we're going to need 8 sheets of artisan cardstock. I will be using the craft. You can use any color you want, but I am going to be using craft for my picnic basket and album. The black would work well, but I just kind of think craft reminds me of a picnic basket. So that's what I'm going to go with, is the craft color. So you need 8 sheets of the 12 by 12. This you supply yourself, so you can use any color you want. Then you're going to need 4 small brads to attach the handle of your picnic basket. So I have these 4 here. There's another one here somewhere. There it is. These are Tim Holtz. I'll show you the package. Long fasteners. So they're a little bit longer than smaller brads. These are small on the top. They're kind of a brass color, and I think that's about I would say a 1/2 inch long prong. So you need to be able to go through 4 layers of cardstock and 1 layer of pattern paper and 1 layer of chipboard. So these work well with the project. You can use any brads that you have in your stash that have long enough prongs to hold the little handle on. So that's what you're going to need. You're going to need 4, not the whole package, but you will need at least 4. And then you're also going to need score tape. So for this project, you will need, these become spacers as we're assembling things. You need a roll of 1/8 inch tape and a roll of 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch. If you don't have that, then you can use your ruler and mark the spaces to get the exact spacing that you need to assemble the album and the box. So you need that. Then you're also going to need a wet adhesive, which I am using the Art Glitter Glue that I get from Country Craft Creations. It dries clear, so that is the glue that I'm going to be using. If you're wanting flowers, which I will probably use flowers, you can use flowers from your stash, or you can use a flower punch or flower dies to make flowers out of your papers for your little box and album. Also, you might want, as desired, from your own stash, buttons, enamel dots, rhinestones, lace, etc. So you don't have to use all of that, just whatever you have on hand. You might want to add in and make it personally your own project, decorate it the way you want to. Okay, so also, let me go over the, let me set these aside, the tools. You will need a 12-inch trimmer to cut your pattern paper and your cardstock. You'll need a 12-inch scoreboard, a scoring tool, a bone folder, scissors, probably a pen or pencil and ruler to mark where you're going to punch your holes, a hole punch or brad piercer, and you will also probably want a corner rounder, either like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch for your project. Okay, so I think that's it. We're ready to get started. We'll be making, from Simple Stories, Lemon Twist, a picnic basket and mini album that becomes the lid. For the box base of our picnic basket, you will pull out the chipboard pieces that are pre-cut for you. You have 3 4x8 and 2 4x4s. Then you will take your own cardstock and you're going to go ahead and follow the cutting guide and cut out your cardstock for the basket base. Okay, first we're going to cut 2 that are 6x12, so that's 1 full sheet. There are 2 that are 6x12. I think I used 3 sheets, ended up, and then save your scraps for your album. Then you will need 1 cut at 6x5. These are basket wraps. This is a basket wrap. You need 1 that is 6x10, and that is the wrap of the basket bottom. Then for inside support pieces, we need 1 that is 6x3 and 15/16. Now on your cutting guide or your ruler, 15/16 is just 1 notch below. This ruler is not going to help you. So when I say 3 and 15/16, it's that tiniest little mark. So it's just under 4 inches, if that helps you any. Just under the 4-inch mark. We don't want it a full 4 inch. We just want it a hair smaller than that. So that will help you out to know that you're put it at 4 and just back it up just a tiny hair bit to cut it 3 and 15/16. So you need on your cardstock, you need the 1 that is 6x3 and 15/16. And then you're going to need 1 that is 2.5x3 and 15/16. And then further down in your cutting guide on your basket base, you'll see that you need 2 that are 1.5 inches wide by 12 inches. These will be our handles. So that's what we need for our cardstock to go with the chipboard pieces for the basket base. To start assembling our basket box base, we're going to take our 2 pieces of cardstock that we cut that are 6 inches by 12, and we're going to join those 2 together. So I'm just taking my Art Glitter Glue and I'm just going to run a line of glue right down the edge of one. This is on the 6-inch edge, and take the other 6-inch piece. So we have 2 12x12s by 6. We're going to join them together right here. I'm just lining them up. There we go. A little bit better to keep them straight, and we burnish that seam line really well. We want it to glue down together good. If it's not completely perfect right here on the ends, that's fine, because that's going to be folded down anyway. So then we take we have 1 piece that was 6x5, And we're going to slide this over, and we're going to join this here. Overlap just a little bit on the end here. So along the 6-inch length, we put the glue, and then we join this. We just needed a little extra. The reason is because we want to be able to place our chipboard pieces so that the seams are in the place that we don't want it where it's right on the edge of any chipboard piece. So we wanted extra to work with. We do have to end up trimming it off on the ends because we want an inch on each end. So now we have this like this, and we have our pieces. Now we only need 2 of the 4x8s. The other one is the bottom. We will wrap that separately, and we need 2 of the 4x4s, chipboard pieces. These are the box ends. And we're going to lay these out so that the seams, it's not in the actual seam part. So we're going to lay these out, and I'm just laying them and playing with them to see the best position for what I need. Okay, so I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to place a short one here and then a long one, but I want to make sure that if I push it way down, this would be too close. So I want to make sure this is going to have enough seam, and then this one will be here. So this will be trimmed off. Then we need another short one, and then I need another long one. So I want to make sure that I'm placing it so that the seams are in the main body of each one, but that I will have plenty of room on the end. So I'm going to start down here, and you will need your 1/8 inch score tape, or you will have to measure an 1/8 inch and keep a space there. So I'm going to get my 1-inch spacer here, and I'm going to put this on the bottom to keep this straight. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to lay these out again. Make sure. Okay. So I'm going to put glue on this one. You can use score tape if you want. I just tend to like to use the glue. Whoops. And get it everywhere. Okay. Put your glue on your back side. And then these are the same size. Let me wipe that off. These are the same size. These are 4x4, so it doesn't matter which direction. I'm going to lay it about right here so that I can put my tape in. So I'm going to burnish this down. Take your 1/8 inch tape, line this up right here. You want the tape on the cardstock, and you want it right up against your chipboard. Oops. There we go. So we got that there. I'm going to go ahead and burnish it so that it stays. This backing will come up easier. Now let's take our one long piece. Okay, put this spacer back, line it up with the bottom and the edge of the chipboard here. And we're going to line this up, and you want to put the end right up against that score tape. So this will leave us 1/8 of an inch between those two pieces there. Okay, so go ahead and burnish this down. And then we need to put another piece of tape. So we need to put another piece of tape down onto the cardstock right up against the chipboard. Right there. Okay, burnished it down with my fingers. And then I will line this back up again, nice and straight, and put glue on this smaller piece, second smaller piece. This is a really easy way to make a box. And originally, I think this is how Tamara made the box for the Wilbur box. If you follow that tutorial, you just change the sizes to whatever you need at the time. So that's what I've done with this one. So put another tape here. Oops, make sure it goes all the way up to the chipboard. There we go. Okay, lay this out. Double check in so we have plenty of room on the ends so that we can trim it away and have just a 1 inch. So let's get this piece on. Make sure my spacer thing is there, and butt this one up against the score tape as well. Press that down and burnish it down. Okay, and as you see, we have extra on each end. So I'm just going to take this and line it up here and place me a mark. So that gives me a 1 inch there, and also on the other end. And then we're going to trim that off. So I'm going to take my big scissors and I'm just going to trim right along that line. There, and then on this one as well. Next, we need to put in our support pieces. This is the cardstock pieces. We cut one that is cardstock, one that is 6 inches by 3 15/16, and one that is 2.5 by 3 15/16. So first, remove these tape backings from inside, these 3 areas. Okay, then peel off your backing, your score tape backing. If you use your score tape backing, I use that, or you need to use solid, so like that, the score tape backing, or you need to use solid strips of score tape. You don't want to use glue for this because it can buckle anywhere it has a bend. So this one's going to go over the 2 pieces here, and I want to line it up down at the bottom. So it's going to be down a ways from the top. That's going to be wrapped. So this you want as close to the bottom edge of the chipboard as you can, centered over those 2 gaps there. And then you're going to just lightly burnish in there for right now. We'll come back to it in just a second. We'll slide this on down. We're going to do the same here. So this one's just going to cover the single. So you go ahead and peel that tape backing off. And then again, we're going to place it down towards the bottom, closer to the bottom, and center it over that gap and burnish that. So then we're just going to take our bone folder and press it in and kind of fold it up, and then burnish anywhere you might see that it's trying to pop up, because we want this really nice and flat. And burnish down in that space. And we'll do it on these 2 as well. So just burnish here. A nice burnish, and then on this one too. So what this does is finish the inside of our box, those corners, and we don't have to worry about that. And just make sure that you're burnishing really well to get this all stuck down really good. Okay, so there's that. Now this is the bottom. I want to write bottom here so that I know. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to stand this up on the top edge and try to get a fold. Okay, this is where we're going to wrap for right now. So go ahead and just kind of work with it and burnish it and fold it over. We're not quite ready yet to attach it down, but we will soon. And you can go ahead and fold the bottom too if you want. I know it's really long, so you just kind of stand it up, kind of get it trained that it's going to have a fold in there. Okay, and then just burnishing it. Cardstock can be a little stiff, so just keep working with it and get a nice fold. Right here, I kind of bent my paper some. We're going to work that in. So just keep working on that. So I'm going to attach down this top edge. So I'm going to fold this back out, and I'm going to take some of my 1/4 inch tape, score tape, and I'm going to put some in different sections. This, I'm going to use glue, but I like to use some score tape to kind of hold these down because it's so long, to make it easier, especially over the seams here. It just makes it a little easier to hold while I'm burnishing and letting the glue dry. So I've done a couple of these, not solid, just one here and there. And I'm going to put one here on the end too. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and burnish those, the backings, so I can peel them off easier, and go ahead and take those off. Take all the tape backings off, because we're going to fold this down and attach it all in one long piece. Now we have that. We're going to take the glue and we're going to put a line of glue on the top edge of the chipboard, but on the cardstock. So all down this edge right here, all the way down. Then go ahead and put glue everywhere you don't have any tape, because we want this to really stick down good. I'm just kind of going along underneath the tape, getting all of that covered, and then along the top of the tape and in between. So once I have plenty of glue on there that I like, then I'm going to fold this down. I'll kind of start in the middle and just fold it under and press it down. And that score tape is going to help hold. Take your bone folder and start burnishing. Okay, you want it to all stick down nice, straight. Just burnish it really good. Anywhere you see it might be popping up a little bit, get that glue in there. If you have to add some more glue underneath, that's fine. Especially burnish right there where that seam is. And then I burnish here along the edge of the chipboard on out. Just go ahead and press that down. Here I'm burnishing. And press this down out here and burnish up against the chipboard. Okay, so then go back over in your spaces where that wrapped over and burnish again all those spaces through all the thickness. Okay, so you should be able to see your indentation pretty good. So that's what's going to fold up for our box. So now we're going to get ready to wrap one of the ends. One does not get wrapped, one does. I'm just burnishing this fold here. And I'm going to fold this one on the short one. So we're going to wrap this one down. So I'm burnishing really well where the fold is. Okay. And then we're going to miter this just like we do for a cover. And I'm going to cut at an angle. I'm going to leave it about 1/8 of an inch from the corner of the chipboard. Right there, like that. You also want to miter the other ends. So I'm just putting my scissor here because there's no angle to cut. I'm going to put my scissors right at the chipboard and just angle cut that, so that this will fold down like this. Okay, so we've got a miter there on our corner. We're going to take our glue, we're going to put it along the edge of the chipboard all the way up onto the cardstock, and then we put glue on our flap, fold it over, and burnish. So we have a mitered corner right here, which is on the top edge. This loose flap down here is our bottom of our box. So we're going to make sure. So this is our finished edge here. And then this is going to swing around. And this is going to wrap here on the outside. Now we need to do some trim work here on the bottom here. So where your gaps are at, not your seams. Do not cut where the seam is. Where the gaps are at, you're going to do a cut up in the center of the gap, and then an angle cut to the chipboard on both sides, so that you're cutting out a V like that. And you will have 3 of those. So each spot where you have the indentation. Cut down the center, up to the chipboard, then angle cut. And do that on both sides of the line and take that out. So there's your V. You have one more here on the front. Cut up to it, angle out, angle it out. Okay, just like that. So you have 3 of those. See them? 3 V's like that. Now we need to do this side over here as well. So let me clean this up. Next, take your bone folder and this one that's still on the other end. We're not gluing it down. We're just going to burnish it really well. We want to get our fold line, and then we also are going to fold up these bottom ones. Don't attach them. You're just getting your fold. You just want to burnish them really well so that you can see the definition of the fold. These will attach to the bottom of our base, so make sure you're burnishing it right up, folding it right up on that chipboard, and get a good burnish crease fold line there. And do that all length, the whole length of your box on the bottom. Just double checking again, making sure it's pulled up really well and really tight there so that we have a nice fold. And this one here, I need a little cleanup or glue on that. I must have torn that. I'm going to put just a little glue on mine to any rough edge there. So that's going to work there. So we have these ready. Okay, so next, if you fold this up, you're going to see here, this will not work. We have to cut this bottom square. I'm going to cut the whole square out right on the fold line, even with the chipboard. So like right here along the chipboard up to that and stop. And then this is cutting that whole square out, so that it doesn't keep our box from going together. So we have that square like that on that side. Now we're going to pull it up, see how it looks. So this flap goes to the outside, and you'll see that it sticks over some. So we need to do a miter cut. So I'm going to fold this here, and I'm going to take my scissor and put it right up against the chipboard and just do a small miter cut like that, just a tiny bit. And then we're going to do it the other way. So we fold this one in, this end one down, and so you see this one right here, this really one sticks out a lot. Put it right up against the chipboard and just cut. And then check again to see how it looks when it folds right there. So see, it's not going out, sticking out. Now then, you also want to check here at the top where it is folded already and attached down. I'm going to do a slight miter. I'm going to put that scissor base right there and just do a miter cut there. That's so it doesn't stick out here at the top. That's going to be covered by pattern paper. Okay, so now we're ready to decide where we're going to put pattern paper first. Now remember, we have to put handles on, so our brads have to come through. Our prongs, so we don't want to put pattern paper there. We don't want it showing. So I'm just looking at it. So I know that I'm taking my pen and putting an X on the inside of each long one. That means no pattern paper until I'm done adding my handles. And then here on the end, this is going to wrap around here. So we need to assemble this before we add any pattern paper. So I'm going to put an X on the outside. So we have 3 X's, 2 on the inside and 1 on the outside on the short piece. Now we're ready to do our pattern paper. So I'm going to turn off the camera and do that. Look at your cutting guide, pick out your pattern papers. I'll show you what I use, and we'll get those all cut. And then also, before we actually start doing pattern paper, we're going to wrap the bottom, the last 4x8 chipboard piece. We're going to wrap it so we have one side that's finished for a box. So we'll do that, and then we'll do the pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera and then get this last piece wrapped. So now we go ahead and set our box base piece. We haven't put it together yet. Just set it aside. Grab your other 4x8 that you have in your kit. And the one 6x10 that you cut out, this is the bottom of the box. And we're going to wrap this like we do an album cover. So we're going to glue this in the center here. I'm going to lay my 1 inch here. I'm not using the scoreboard right now. I'm just going to lay these out so that I can see. I'm going to put glue on this chipboard piece and glue it down onto the cardstock. Just like this, so that I have 1 inch around each edge. Okay, there we go. Burnish that down. Now that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold up all the edges, and then I will miter the corners. So I'll stand it up, get a good burnish on that on all 4 sides. And then this away. Okay. And then I go ahead and miter cut. So I cut about 1/8 of an inch from the tip of the chipboard, cut away the cardstock on all 4 corners. Okay, throw that away. Then let's do the 2 long sides first. So glue right along the chipboard and then glue on your flap. And if you'd wanted to put that little piece of score tape in there, you could have. This is shorter, so I think it's going to be fine. And I'm just going to hold it and burnish it really well. And then turn it and do the other side as well. Now this will finish one side of our box space and the edges, and the other side will be raw right here, but that will be covered with patterned paper. Now once you've done this, you've got a little extension of your cardstock from this side sticking out. So you're going to press it down right up against that chipboard and kind of bring it in. You want to be able to fold this nicely. So do that on all 4 sides. Just kind of curve it in and press it down. Okay, and then check it and see if you need to trim any. That looks good. So glue along the edge and then on the flap, fold it over and burnish. Other side, we're going to check it the same way. Looks good. Put your glue on. And fold that over. If you have any excess glue, just wipe that off and burnish. Okay, so that is the box bottom. So we have this already. I've already marked mine because I know that I'm going to be putting handles on. This is how it wraps around. So where this attaches on the outside, I'm going to put an X. I don't want to pattern that. And then on the inside where the brad prongs will be, that needs to be patterned after the boxes, the handles are added. So I put an X on these 2 long sides. Those we do not want to add pattern paper to. The others we can add pattern paper before we actually pull the box together. Okay, so I have my pattern papers selected and cut. I'm going to go over those with you so you know what I'm doing, and you can choose which patterns you want to use. For the outside of my picnic basket box, I have decided to go with this plaid, which is the back side of these pretty butterflies. You could use either side that you choose. So for this, you need, as it says on your cutting guide, you're going to need 2 that are 7 7/8 wide by 3 7/8 tall for the outside, front, and back. And then you cut another one that is for the bottom, which is the same size, 7 7/8 wide by 3 7/8 tall. You can use one or the other. I decided I'm going to use them all the same, so I have those 3. And then for the ends on the outside, you need to cut 2 that are 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So that's for the outside of my picnic basket. Then also on the outside, I want it to look like a napkin or cloth is hanging out of the basket. So I decided to go with this pretty teal check. You can use whichever one you want. I cut a 5" by 5" square. And then on your trimmer or with your scissors, you cut at a diagonal from one point to the opposite point like this, so that you have 2 pieces. And then I decided I thought it would look really pretty to have an extra piece to it. So I cut this next one out of the black dot, and I cut that one at 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 and did the same diagonal cut from one corner to the opposite corner like that. So that's my napkin pieces. Then for the inside of my box, I decided to go with this kind of newsprint, like it's lined with newsprint. It's got some pretty images on it. So for the inside, you're going to need front and back. You need 2 that are 7 7/8 by 3 7/8 tall. And for the inside bottom, you're going to need one that is 7 7/8 wide by 3 7/8 tall. One thing is noted on the cutting guide: you will need to dry fit this and trim if needed. It might be a little too tight, a little too big, so you won't know that till everything's put together. And on the inside, you need 2 that are 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So that's our pattern paper. Now we can go ahead and start inking. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm using the Pumice Stone Distress ink, and I just use the ink pad. So go ahead and ink your edges if desired, and get that all done, and then join me back here on the video to start adding our papers in. I have all my papers inked, and I'm ready to add some in. So I'm going to turn it into the outside, which is what's wrapped solid with the cardstock. And we only have one section that's marked with an X. So I'm going to take my long pieces here, the plaid, and they're going to glue right in here. So you got to make sure you're looking at the right sections. Those are the short. This is the long. So the long is right here, the first one, the seam here. So you want to put it in. So this has been made about, so it's about 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to take my glue, and I'm going to put this on. So this one's going to be the bottom because of the direction of the paper. So I'm going to put glue on my back side. I know it's a pretty paper. Either side is pretty. We just have to sacrifice. If you really love it, well then head over to countrycraftcreations.com and place another order for this beautiful Simple Vintage, sorry, tongue twister, Simple Vintage Lemon Twist paper collection. So this one's going to go right here, and I'm just making sure of kind of centering it top and bottom, getting it on straight, burnish that down, and get my bigger scraper here so I can make sure got it all down good. I'm going to put an end piece on next because I want to make sure they're kind of lining up. So this is going to go right here. Okay. So glue on the back side. Okay, and put this one down. So we want to make sure it's not over the fold section, but lined up the same top and bottom. Okay. I just thought the plaid kind of looked more like the weave of a picnic basket. So we need another long one here. And it's going to go right here. Remember, we have an X here, so we're not going to put that one on yet. Set it aside till we get the box together. Here we go. And burnish. move it just a tad right there. There we go. Make sure I'm getting it on straight as I can. Okay. Now, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and put our papers on for our napkins. So this is going to go here on the long sides, and this one goes here. Now you can put it up higher or lower. I'm going to keep it down, drop down some, and center it. So you'll have just a little bit on each side. So we put the bigger one on first. You're doing the double layer. Put glue all on the back side. Okay. And then we're going to center it and make sure it's about the equal amount here. And it comes almost to the bottom, and burnish that. I love that black dot. So pretty. And then the other side. Of course, the images on the back were just as pretty. So, yeah, I may have to order extra paper here. Okay. And then we put this one down. Same thing. Just give you enough time to move everything. Make it even. Whoops. Let's pull this one up. That art glitter glue does want to dry quickly. So go ahead and get that on straight. All the way at the top. Yep. I want it up at the top here. Okay. Over. And about right there. Okay, there we go. Got a little bit right there off, so see if I can fix that some. Okay, cover that up and burnish. I might have to put some glue on under my paper there a little bit. Right here, I need a little extra glue because I wiggle it around and can lose a little bit. Right, there we go. Okay, so next we take our other triangle pieces and it's going to go right up in there. So bring it more to the top so that some more of the black shows. So right here, the top, center it there and burnish it down. Okay, and then this other side, hope I'm staying in frame here for you, and we get this piece on. So that one goes right here. Okay, burnish. Isn't that cute? Okay, so that's going to come together like that. You'll see it like that. Now let's turn it back to the inside. So this is our end piece for the outside. We'll set that aside. This is going to be for the bottom on the inside. And this one's going to be for the outside. So those two pieces go with that. So here we take these, and we don't want to put these in yet. So we set these aside, the two long ones. We're only going to put the two short ones in. So make sure you pay attention to your direction of your paper. These are already inked. And I'm just going to put my glue on. Make sure I'm between those folds right there. See those? Burnish that. And then the other one, you can go ahead and put that one in too. And then we'll be ready to pull this box base of our basket together. Okay, so make sure my direction's right. And then this is going to go here, and I'm looking to make sure we're kind of even on the top there. Okay, now bring this all together. And I'm trying to make the short flap lay on top of the bigger flap. The inside here. Okay. So I'm going to put a little glue right here on the inside of the long end pieces. See right there, those flaps? And then I will put it on the other end as well of the long pieces. So there's glue on the inside, on the top inside of each of the long pieces. Then I'm going to kind of fold this end and let those ends, long ends, go under down here. It's kind of fiddly here, but press that in. I'm going to let that catch down. And then this one here, I'll lift up the short flap so that it goes over to where the glue is. Whoops. And get that, especially the one in the corner here that's attached, and get that glued in. Because we're going to use this other flap to get in. Now I should have put my score tape piece on here. It's going to help hold everything while the glue dries, but I can still get it on real quick like this onto the flap, just kind of in the center, a piece of tape right there on the flap. So burnish it down, peel that backing off, and then we add our glue right along the fold line here and on all our flaps around the score tape. Put a good amount of glue, make sure we want it to stick good. And so that, we're going to stand this up, we're going to bring this flap around and line it up here at the top. I want to make sure that's even. And press it here on the side and burnish like that, okay? Now then, does it matter which way the bottom goes? Not really. Okay. So I'm just going to fit it in and see how it fits now. It should fit good. Pretty snug fit. I'm going to put glue down in here. This is going to help keep everything straighter too. I'm going to put glue on the flaps that are facing up now, all along. Now you may not can see it, but you're putting the glue on just the flap, on all four flaps. So in the corners, get a good amount of glue. Okay, so see how I've got glue there? Whoops, can't show you. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put it face down with this finished side on the inside. It doesn't really matter that much, but you're going to push that in, and it's going to square everything up. And press down in there with your bone folder. Burnish it all the way around. Okay, I turned it over. Burnish this. You already had the glue on part of this, so it should be sticking. If you need to add just a little more, like right there, it kind of didn't have quite enough, or it dried or something. So I'll put some more glue, because you do want it to dry. You want it to stick down good. Pushing on the inside and getting that dried. And burnish all of this. Okay, so there you go. Now then, turn it over. Go ahead, put the bottom piece on to finish it off. Make sure I move everything back in the camera here. And we line this up. And burnish. Okay, now then all we have to do is this end. So this is going to go like that. Let's do our glue here. And then the next thing we're going to do is put our bottom pattern paper in, and then we're going to make our handles so we can finish on the inside. So this goes here. Just line them up. And burnish. Okay, there's that. So we can go ahead and put our bottom paper in. I'm going to just double check. I did ink it, and it does fit in there. Could have been cut just a little bit bigger, but that's okay. I've got some border of the craft showing, so I'm fine with that. Don't have enough pattern paper to recut. Okay. Which way is going to be my front? Doesn't matter. So I'm going to do it this way. Doesn't probably really matter. Let's get that in, drop it in, and center it the best you can. So you're going to have some craft around each edge here showing. Kind of get it in there centered really well, but I'm going to burnish it anyway. I think it's going to be just fine. So there is our inside with the front inside and the back inside unfinished because we got to make our handles. So we're going to do that next. Okay, for our handles, we need our scoreboard. We need the 2 pieces of cardstock that were cut at 1.5 wide by 12. We're going to put the 1.5 in at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch all the way down, and at 1 inch all the way down on both pieces. Okay, 1/2 inch and 1 inch. It's going to make us a real nice, strong little handle. Okay. Take your bone folder, and you're going to fold the first score line and burnish. Take your glue and put glue on the center section. Okay, fold that over. Burnish this down. Now you may have to really press to get it to stay glued down. Okay. Then you're going to burnish this other fold towards the one you just glued down. Fold it and burnish it. And then put glue on the inside of that. Fold it down, burnish it to stick them together. So this is 3 thicknesses. Really burnish that. If you don't have enough glue, you need to add some more. 3 thicknesses of cardstock for this handle. And you do want it to stick down, so if I don't have enough glue, I will add some more right here and burnish that. Because you want it to be like one piece now. Okay, so that is the handle. Then take something slightly round and just curve your handle like that so that it gets a little curve. And do the second one the same way. We have both handles made and they are curved. And we're going to take our hole punch, and I'm going to use the smaller size on my Crop-A-Doll here. And I'm just going to center it about, let's see. Do the first one and see. About 1/8 of an inch from the bottom edge if you can, so it doesn't tear. So I'm going to do this one the same way. Center it I'm just eyeballing it and getting it done. So it's a little less than 1/8 of an inch. That's okay. Just make sure it's not right on the edge of your handle. So there, that one's pretty good. And we got this one. Okay, so I have those punched, and now I'm ready to put these on, and I'm just going to take a pin, and I'm going to measure over. Let's see, I want it about the hole, about 2 inches from the end. So I'm going to see how that looks. 2 inches from the end and about 3/8 of an inch down. So we mark 2 inches here, and then we take this over here and we mark 2 inches here. So that's that side. Go ahead and punch those holes using the small hole punch again. And I have to look down in there to see. Okay, and the other one. Right. So we got that one punched, and we do the other side same way. We're going to line it up here about 3/8 of an inch from the top and mark it about 2. And move this over and mark it at 2. So they should be about the same from the top edge. So we'll punch those holes. One and the other one. Okay, so we got those punched. Now we're ready to take our brads and put them on. Now, you put these side to side like this, and then they will cross over. So what I'm going to do is take some glue, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue around that hole, just a tiny bit where the brad's going to go in. I don't want holding it down. So be careful with that. You don't want your handle to stick down. So I'm going to, don't put glue on it. I'm just going to line it up, and then I'll put glue on the back side. So that would be better. So put your brad in and open up your prongs on the inside. You've got plenty of length here. Just turn them sideways. Turn this around and go ahead and put the other one on. Now I am leaving my handles the natural color. If you wanted to cut a narrow strip of paper and cover those, you could. I would suggest you do that before you put the handles on. So that's just a decorating idea. That's totally up to you. And this one here. Now, because I want to make sure they stay secure, that's why I was thinking about putting the glue on the front, and then I remembered it would make my handle stick. Okay, so I'll open up the prongs. Now then, I will take my glue and put glue over the prongs and kind of in the hole so that it's gluing the brads in and not my handle down. So you do that on all 4. Okay, and then we're ready to put the pattern paper in on the inside. So we have these 2. They're already cut. And we're going to line this up in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on the back. And line this in real nice and neat and kind of match it on the top edge the same as the ones I've already been put in. And then turn it on its side and burnish. So you want to make sure you're burnishing really well, especially around the brads, prongs. You don't want any gapping of your paper, okay? Just burnish that So there's that one in there like that. Isn't that pretty? And then we'll do the other one the same way. Put some paper on the back side, glue on the back side. So let's put this last one in on the inside and turn it and burnish in. Make sure again to get it really good around the prong, especially the edges. Okay, so there, you see how that crosses? There's our the base of our picnic box. Now we're ready to make the album, which will make the lid. So we're ready to start on that. So we will continue on with the construction of our little mini album that will open up and be the lid of our box.